Welcome back. I'm Emily at Emily's podcast, Tribute to All Little Angels, Part 5, Episode 4 of Refresh Our Memory. June 12th, 2022. I thank God for waking me up this morning. I asked Him to give me the strength to get through Part 5 of the timeline, to at least get the legal brief of events for Patty. I know I need to get it done, and I need to get it done sooner than later. 12:22 p.m. I sat down to work on the timeline, and I worked on it and worked on it. I did take a few short breaks, and at 2:36 p.m. I went to grab a pizza from a local pizzeria for Madison and I when she comes in from work for lunch. When I got back, Madison came in shortly after, and when we were done eating, I went back to working on the timeline. I knew Part 5 didn't have as much information in it as Part 4 did not either, but there's not much going on when no one, not anyone, wants to hear it, not even conversations. 8:46 p.m. Carla called. We talked for over an hour, and while on the phone with her, I finished with the timeline information, dates, times, and events. 9:50 p.m. I have to call Carla back after I call Madison checking on her. I let Madison know I finished getting the information out of the timeline. Madison said, "Good for you, Mom. I knew you would." After her and I hung up, I thought, now all I have to do is put this information in the legal brief, and that won't take me long. But not tonight. June 13th, 2022. I opened my eyes this morning and I had to look around the room to see if I was really here. It was a weird moment. My first thought is, I have to do the legal brief today, this morning. I thanked God and got up. I cleaned a little bit, and I needed to fill in the timeline this morning of the past 4 days also. 11:23 a.m. I'm done with that, and I'm going to work on the legal brief now until noon or 1 o'clock. Then I want to spend some time outside, but I will get it done today, hopefully. A bit later, nope, not today. I did not get it done. June 14th, 2022. I thank God for opening my eyes. I am working on the timeline and the legal brief this morning and early afternoon. Madison is off work today, so we are going to the cemetery. 1:43 p.m. Madison pulls into the cemetery on the west side of it. I'm on the passenger side, so it's easier to take pictures from this side of the car, if the city people are out here. They are here, but they are to the back side of this cemetery working. I took pictures, and Madison sees a city truck coming up behind us. So she drove on, and after we visit with Wyatt, she drove back to Megan's area, and I took more pictures. I prayed to both my angels, and we left the cemetery. Madison and I then took a ride out of the city, and when we returned home at 5:36 p.m., I worked on that legal brief. It's not like I feel pressure to get it done, but I think I will be relieved once it is. After I spent the evening getting closer to the end of being done with the legal brief, the news came on. There's a segment aired this evening of a woman who has to have her father exhumed because they buried him in the wrong spot. And she is wanting to know if she can be there when they dig him up and reburied him at his resting place. I listened, I watched. It's getting late, so I stopped typing and I went to bed. I said my prayers and thought about that segment on the TV and fell asleep. June 15th, 2022. When I open my eyes, my first thought is about the woman on the news last night. I lay here thinking, looking up at a small glare of sunshine coming through the window shade. 7:38 a.m. I look up the information of the news station which aired the story. 7:48 a.m. I call the news station. The call was canceled for some reason. I messaged my niece Jen. I wrote, "Good morning, baby. There was a news segment on TV last night, and a woman wanted to know if she would be able, and something stopped me." I laid back down, and as I lay here, I'm thinking. I start messaging Jen again. I wrote, "Hi, baby. Are you up for making a call to the," and something stopped me again. I set my phone down. I picked it back up and walked into my family room and sat in a stool closest to the window. I called. 7:52 a.m. I called the news station. I talked with Colleen for 7 minutes. I said, "Hello. I saw a news segment that a woman had to exhume her father because he was laid in the wrong spot." Colleen said, "Yes, I said, "Yes, she would be able to stand in to exhume her father and be there when they lay him to rest." Colleen said, "All right." I said, "I hope it works out for her better than it did for me." They dug up my granddaughter's casket. It was opened, full of water, and they dumped the water on the ground, washed all the DNA away, and I was choked up. And Colleen sounds like she is too. I apologized and said, "I'm sorry. I get emotional when I have to talk about this." Colleen said, "Oh no, you are okay." I said, "On May 7th, 2015, we had 7.1 inches of rain, and it flooded the streets in Moore and that cemetery." Colleen asked, "Does it flood like that all the time?" I said, "Yes, every time it rains hard." I visit the cemetery on May 9th, 2015, when the streets were reopened and the headstones have been moved. I took pictures, as I have taken pictures since 1999 when my granddaughter was laid to rest. But the pictures now don't match up. I have pictures, I have taken reenactment pictures, and I have an overlay picture to prove the headstones were moved. They don't want to listen or hear it. I said, "I don't know how much of this I should be telling this case to you because it is at the Attorney General's office, and if Oklahoma doesn't help, I will go out of state." Colleen asked, "What is your name and phone number?" I said, "Emily McMahon." I spelled it out to her. Colleen said, "Emily, I'm going to pass this along to," and I'm not sure who she said, but then she said, "and I will pass your story on to." I thanked her and told her to have a good day. Colleen said, "Aw, you too," and we hung up. And the minute we did, I know the I know other than giving her the answer yes as to the segment question, I knew it was a big waste of time for me. 8:08 a.m. I messaged Jen. I wrote, "There was a news segment on TV last night, so I called the news station this morning to answer the lady's question." I even mentioned to the newscaster my story, a part of my story. She listened, even took my name and number. She did listen, so hopefully we will hear from her. And yes, Jen, I cried, but not so much she couldn't understand me. And I do pray Colleen helps us. 8:13 a.m. I called my sister Susie. We talked for about 18 minutes. I told her about me calling the news station and how it came about, and she's proud of me. We talked about how I got through this conversation without sobbing and crying. I do get emotional. 9:05 a.m. Patty, my friend from birth, called. We talked for about an hour, and I told her what had transpired yesterday evening and this morning about me calling. And she's proud of me too for calling. I told Patty I'm almost done with the legal brief too. Patty asked, "How many pages does it have?" I said, I don't know. I don't have the pages numbered yet, but there is quite a bit of pages." Patty said, "We can't have it too long." I said, "I'm putting times, dates, and events, and you can decipher through it and write what sounds good to the information." Patty said, "Oh, all right. I'm going to look into it and see if there's any way I can represent you with this case." I said, "You are? Okay. Yeah. I believe here in Oklahoma you could be your own lawyer as long as you know the laws. Yes, please look into it, Patty." Patty said, "I will, Em. I'm going to let you go so I can search for some information to see what we can get done. Let's get this done, Em. It's been way too long." I said, "Good deal, yes. All right, thank you so much." And we hung up. After I was done talking, I went outside to spend a little quiet time. When I came in, I start working on the legal brief again, and I know if I stick with it today, I will get it done. 11:53 p.m. Oh my gosh. I finished the legal brief, and I am relieved. It's too late to message or call anyone, so I will wait until morning. And thank you, God, and have a good night. June 16, 2022. 12:43 a.m. I messaged my friend Lisa. I knew she would be at work. I wrote, "I finished the rough draft of the legal brief tonight. I'm so relieved." Lisa wrote, "That's fabulous. Aren't you glad you got that out of the way?" I wrote, "Heck yes. I've been working on it for over a month in my spare time. But yes, I'm glad it's out of the way. Are you at work?" Lisa wrote, "Yes, I am. It's not too busy." I wrote, "Oh, good, huh?" Lisa wrote, "It was bad earlier." I wrote, "Oh, no. I'm getting in the shower now." Lisa wrote, "Text me when you get out, and I will take my break." I wrote, "All right, I will." I didn't. I fell asleep. When the sun popped up hours later, I did not want to get up this morning. I'm exhausted. I want to sleep, but I knew I couldn't. With diabetes, you cannot not get up. You have to. When I was done with my breakfast, I start typing in the timeline to get the past couple days typed in, and I finished at 2:14 p.m. And I feel good. I'm all caught up on all of it. My timeline, the legal brief. Now I can relax a little bit until I hear from the Attorney General's office or I hear from anyone. June 17, 2022. I had a good morning. I'm staying busy waiting to hear from anyone. I proofread the legal brief. I did do that today. At 8:03 p.m., Madison and I went to the cemetery. I pulled in on the east side and drove back to visit Wyatt. There's a haze in the sky, and I certainly do not need to be out in it for too long. I pull around to visit Megan. Her flowers are still here, and I thank God for that. I took pictures. Megan's flowers look so perky stuck up out of the ground, like she's telling me, "I'm right here, Nana. I have my flowers." Or that's what I like to think. Good thoughts. When we returned home, I relaxed. June 19, 2022. Wow, I'm not sure what to do. I know I have been getting a lot of cleaning done for this next weekend, but it's like I have a clear mind. I haven't felt like this in a long time, a very long time. I really do believe things happen as they are meant to happen. I understand this saying now. I didn't realize my mind being away from the cemetery case, the computer. I didn't even look at the computer today, nothing. Doing what I want to do. doing what I need to do, and it feels good. But when I realized I wasn't thinking about it, I thought, I need this. I need to step away. And it really does feel good. And now I pray God will grant the people to see it, to do the right thing. The city of Moore will do the right thing. And then I feel a sigh of relief, although I know I still have a fight on my hands. And then again, hopefully not. Someone has got to do something for them loved ones and for what they did to Megan. Period. June 20th, 2022, 11:23 a.m. I turn on the computer for a few minutes to add the entry for the past 2 days, plus one day, today, in the timeline. Then I turned it off. It's a new week. I'm staying positive that the state of Oklahoma will do the right thing. The Attorney General will do the right thing, and the city of Moore will find it in their hearts to do the right thing, the moral thing. June 21st, 2022. Good morning. It feels like it anyway. I am and have been busy trying to get ready for this coming weekend, the 2022 graduation party for Madison. I did talk with my brother John and his wife Gail this afternoon. Gail said she took her car in to get the motor fixed where Summer works, and that's why they will not make it down for the week. And Gail also said, I talked with Summer. Summer said she has a lot going on, but she will try to call you soon. I said, oh, all right. Thank you, Gail. Did you tell her what is going on lately? Gail said, yes, I did. She asked me if they reopened the case at the Attorney General's office. And Gail said, I'm not sure, but they did try to pull some bullshit. I said, yes, they did reopen it. It may be Summer, and maybe Summer will call soon. Excuse me. Gail said, yeah, she said she would when she got time. I said, thank you, Gail, and she let me talk to my brother John. June 23rd, 2022. Man, I hope the Attorney General's office does the right thing. Madison and I got things ready for me to leave for the weekend, and before I left, I went to the cemetery. I feel I need to visit before leaving. I always feel the need to check on things before and after a vacation, and especially storms. 1:08 p.m. I pull up to Wyatt. We sat with him for a little bit. I pray to him that the Attorney General does the right thing. When I was done, I went to visit Megan. Everything looks all right for her, and I pray to her. I ask her, too, to help the Attorney General to do what needs to be done. God, I pray they do. While sitting with Megan, I took about 9 pictures, and as I pulled away, Madison and I both prayed to our angels to have a safe trip this weekend. I left the cemetery and I'm on my way, and Madison is in her car and she went home. I arrive at my destination at 5:30 p.m. and I drive to the area where our cabin is for this night. I'm waiting, excuse me, to hear from my sister Susie and or her daughter, my niece Jen. The reception isn't that great here, but after 2 or 3 times of looking, I did find my sister. She was looking for the cabin at that same time that I was looking for anyone, and it was such a nice, fond memory of how we found each other. That's a story for another time. Later in the evening, Jen and her daughters and one of their friends, Chloe, arrived. We did get to visit for a little bit before we went to bed. It was a great day. June 24th, 2022. The graduation party has begun. June 25th, 2022. Everyone had arrived over the day yesterday and late last night, so today is the party. A great time. June 26th, 2022. The party went so well. I know everyone that came will have so many memories for years to come and so on. I'm so happy and thankful for all the ones that did show. Thank you all. I'm now back in the city by 4 p.m., and on my way home I went to the cemetery just to check on things. 4:23 p.m. I took a few pictures and sat with my angels for a little while, taking a breather. I needed it. When I got home, Susie, Madison, and Madison's friend Tiana were already back, and I'm happy to see they made it safely. Susie will be staying a week with us, so I can hang out with my great nephew, Rylan. He is turning 11, and he is an awesome kid. June 27th, 2022. The next few days I spent quality time with Susie and Rylan. But on June 30th, 2022, today, we wait for the temperature to cool off before we went to the cemetery. 5:25 p.m. I pull up to Wyatt. We got out of the car and visit with him, Susie to pay her respect. Next, we went to visit Megan. I took pictures. We stood under her tree. I show Susie what's been going on. She said, I have pictures of damage in the cemetery from 2013. I said, you do? She said, I will show you when we get back in the car. When we got back in the car, she pulled up the pictures on her phone. I sat there looking over at Megan and praying to her and Wyatt as I skimmed through Susie's pictures. My gosh, there was a lot of damage. This is when the city changed the electrical poles along the fence line on the west side of the cemetery. July 1st, 2022. Susie and Rylan left to travel home. It's so nice to visit with them. Susie stayed in touch while driving, and I'm thankful for that. July 2nd, 2022. Today is a cleanup day. I need to get the bed linens cleaned, clean the house, and get things back to routine. 2:08 p.m. Madison and I went to the cemetery. Everything seems okay, and I'm good with that. 2:36 p.m. I pull up to Megan's area. I took pictures. I continue to take pictures, especially with it not settled yet. And they haven't owned up to anything. So I just have to. 6:56 p.m. Susie and Rylan has made it home safely. And thank God. July 4th, 2022. We are having a small barbecue today, and then we will go watch fireworks. And believe me, it was such a good time. And in 3 more days, the Attorney General will have this case file for 30 days from June 8th, 2022, not May 26th, when they originally received it. God be with us. Be with them. Thank you for listening. Stay kind with your words.